Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. All the discussion around George Bush got me thinking about these Bushisms. And these are silly things that George Bush said. Now, Saturday Night Live used to make fun of him, talking about strategery. And I think he does say nuclear, for nuclear. He says nuclear. Well, but there are many other things that the man said. But this is what got me to thinking about it, because I've always been a George Bush fan. Now, here was why. It was a very simple thing. One, I didn't think of him as a professional politician. He was governor for the state of Texas, and he did a good job for the state. There's nobody that can argue that. He got rid of Ann Richards, I believe is her name, all of her taxes. He just erased all of them. And state of Texas was doing well. Now the state of Texas did well. I say we because I lived there during the time. But the state of Texas does well because of oil revenues. And that's always been high. And they've always had a pretty big dollar rainy day fund. So the Texas economy has been booming for a while, et cetera. The businesses, it's got a great business climate. I could go on and on. So it isn't that George Bush is necessarily so good, but those policies are the reason why. And getting rid of Ann Richards stuff brought more business in. California helped by chasing people out, as did Illinois. So Texas is booming in that regard. Now, when Bush became president, he got Bill Clinton's world. And the very first thing that happened to him was we got the World Trade Center bombing or destruction. And I looked at what George Bush had to overcome, stock market crumbling. It went down as low as 7,000. It's hard to believe that, given it's 23,000 now. Stock market went to 7,000 and change. We disrupted all kinds of things, from the financial system to the economy at large. We didn't feel safe in America anymore. So then he overstepped with the Patriot Act. But I think, at the time people were like, oh, it's worth doing, et cetera. We can look in retrospect on that. But he inherited that mess, and he came out with strength. And I like that. Now, he coined the phrase compassionate conservatism, which I think is a silly thing, because conservatism is compassionate to those who need it. It's the most compassionate form of ideology. So, but he came out with that, and he was ridiculed. And then he went on to become what is really a leftist. He wanted to call himself a compassionate conservative, but he became a leftist. He spent money like a crazy man, upped the budget by over $1 trillion over previous years, and used the notion of our security to do it. And even though we're paying for our own security, when people fly through the airport, don't even try to figure out the amount of money these guys make with what that thing they tacked on to every ticket now for Homeland Security. That number is staggering. The number of flyers every day spending $20 in fees for the artificial idea of security is ridiculous. You should get a refund every time there's a terrorist attack. But anyway, so they put that on. The Patriot Act allowed all of the spying stuff that Edward Snowden ended up being a whistleblower for. So we have all that. And he then took money because the economy was starting to falter a bit. He says, I'm going to give Barack Obama $787 billion for a debacle created by Dodd-Frank and other Democrats, bails out Obama, who then takes every George Bush negative and puts it on steroids, and meanwhile, while doing it, blamed Bush. And now they're buddies, as we say in the hood. They're ace coon boons. Love each other. Woohoo! Love me some George. Love me some Barack. At Trump's inauguration, Michelle Obama and George are beaming over one another. Let me tell you why Bush is doing this. Because he's a typical rhino Republican. He's like McCain. They want to be loved by the other side. They will sell their souls to be loved by the other side. Let me tell you something. Michelle Obama, she's cordial to Bush because he is overly friendly. If he's just cordial and friendly, she's not going to like him. He has to kiss her butt. That's why she likes him. Would she help him? No. Publicly, Michelle Obama will do nothing other than let people see that Bush fawns all over her. That's it. She will do nothing public to help George Bush. That would ruin her cred with black folks. The Obamas cater to blacks. And they proved that in their administration. Michelle Obama will show up to white events, but where she really took her, where she really, as my grandma would say, showed out, was when she went to go hang out with Beyonce and the Beehive and those girls. That's when they got their black on, boy. If they would let you see how those women were acted behind the scenes, you wouldn't even believe that was Michelle Obama. You'd go, that was the first lady? I mean, I saw Michelle Obama I think she was practically twerking at some event. We wrote a piece about it and people got mad at me. I'm like, what are you mad at me for? Can you imagine a first lady getting up on stage? I mean, I'm talking about being down, in a twerk position. And from what people said, she was twerking. So imagine what she did when she was behind the scenes. Anyway, this whole Bush thing got me thinking about all this stuff. And now the left wants to accept George Bush. They talk about his art. He's a pretty good artist. They talk about, all the new polls. George Bush, maybe he wasn't as bad as we thought he was. See, that's all these guys. That's what bugs me about people. This is what I like about Trump. What's going to happen is the results will speak for themselves. Is he going to brag about them as they occur? Sure. If history then comes back and says Donald Trump had funky hair and, he was a bit abrasive, Trump's going to be, that's in the rearview mirror. I hope the dude lives to be 150 and still feels the way he feels so he can say, I don't care what y'all think. Let me tell you, I hate to say this, because I don't want kids to take it the wrong way, and they do listen to the program. But here's the deal. I mean, it's not an earmuff thing, but I don't care what people think about me. I really don't. You could call it a character flaw. It's like when I'm thinking about radio. I don't care what people think about me from a sponsorship perspective. I don't care what they think about the opinions I have. I don't care. That's not to say I'm dismissing you. It's to say that my opinions are my opinions, and they formed because of good quality thought, logical processes. If you don't agree, it's okay. But if you expect me to care that you don't agree, you are talking to the wrong dude. I do not care. And you know what? I look at my friends. I have a friend named Mark. When we would go play basketball, I was the diplomat. Mark would be like, Kev, now look, we ain't here to make no friends. We gonna stay on the court because we only got an hour, and if we lose, then we ain't gonna get to play. And we're not here to make any friends. So I don't want you to make any friends, man. I was like, all right, dude. And so Mark, he quick shake your hand, hey, okay, whatever. And then he's in the game, and he's in it to stay on the court. And I gotta tell you, I appreciate that about him. I appreciate that lesson from him that there's a time for friendship, and there's a time when you want to stay on the court. We, as conservatives, want to stay on the court. Hey, good to know you, competition. Nice that you're going to be sitting down in 10 minutes when we finish beating you, whatever the score is, 13 to 8, and y'all got to go sit down. Nice to know you. Next group. When we start thinking like that, we'll be better. But anyway, the left, they believe that they're making Bush into a hero. So I want to read a few of the things that Bush has said over the years. Here's what he said, New Hampshire, January 27th of 2000. I know how hard it is for you to put food on your family. Now, I know that's slip of the tongue, meant on your table. Probably was thinking feed your family, but he said it. Here's another one. Florence, South Carolina, January 11th, 2000. Rarely is the question asked, is our children learning? Again, one of those that you just go, Kevin, you're just making fun of me. Yeah, it's true. But he's a dummy. Here's another one. Too many docs are getting out of the business. Too many OBGYNs aren't able to practice their love with women all across this country. And they're not able to practice their love with women. If your OBGYN's got Barry White playing when you walk in, you might want to think again. Unless he's good looking. If he looks like Brad Pitt, then you guess what? Dudes, you better go to that exam. He says this of discussing the Iraq war with Pat Robertson in 2003. Oh, no, we're not going to have any casualties. Really? Here's what he said at the Economic Forum in Waco, Texas. I promise you I will listen to what's been said here, even though I wasn't here. That's a real Bushism right there. Here's another one. It said in Gothenburg, we spend a lot of time talking about Africa, as we should. Africa is a nation that suffers from incredible disease. Bush's policy in Africa, by the way, was really good. I'll give him that. And he says this in Saginaw, Michigan, September 29th, 2000. I know the human being and fish can coexist peacefully. Let's do one more because we're going to run out of time. Our enemies are innovative and resourceful, and so are we. They will never stop thinking in new ways to harm our country and our people, and neither do we. We'll be back, folks. Kevin Jackson Show is what you're listening to.
Kevin Jackson
on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.